So there's some new coaching news and stuff that you teased. I want you to hit that teaser. I want you to hit that teaser and then tell us about this new coaching news at one major SWAC institution.
No, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start with the coach first.
Oh, go ahead.
So,
please,
first things first. Congratulations to Bubba Mcdowell. For those who think they heard that name before, yeah, Bubba Mcdowell played in the NFL with the Houston Oilers for a very long time.
We remember
that Bubba McDowell.
Yes, we remember watching.
Most definitely the defensive back that played there with the Oilers. Is now the head coach at Prairie View A&M, replacing one Eric Dooley. Now there are a lot of people who are screaming, "Oh my God, the Sanders effect!" Pump the brakes. Bubba actually was on the coaching staff there at Prairie View for a number of years before taking on the head coaching job. I mean, it might have a little bit to do with it, but it's not like they went out seeking an NFL player to go ahead and bring on their staff. No. They already had him on staff.
Right.
And the team and the players are already familiar with Bubba, and they decided to go ahead and hire him. Wonderful hire for them. It's going to be very interesting to see what he continues to do with this program, and if he can continue to keep this program on the level that it has been on the past couple of seasons. So congratulations to Mr. McDowell. Yes, the thing that I teased about, the Sanders, the Deion Sanders effect. All right, we already know about the numbers for the Celebration Bowl and how we talked about it being sold out and how big of a deal it was, blah, blah, blah. Numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we already talked about the attendance numbers. Let me go ahead and remind those that don't remember. The attendance for this past Celebration Bowl was 48,653. Most ever in terms of attendance for the Celebration Bowl.
Right.
But let's talk about how big it was in comparison with other bowl games. Of the 38 total bowl games played this bowl season, not including the championship game, which is coming up next week. But the 38 bowl games played, the Celebration Bowl's attendance numbers outdid 27 other games this year.
Wow.
27. And those games do include the likes of the Liberty Bowl, the Outback Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, the Peach Bowl, which was also played in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
The Cheez-It Bowl, the Armed Forces Bowl, Vegas Bowl, all of those games I just named did over 30,000. But they outdid 27 other bowl games in terms of attendance. So congratulations to the Celebration Bowl and their organizers over there for everything that they've done this year to make that bowl game such a success. I will say this though, even with if they would have done their average number was around 38, right? I'm sorry, around 36, 37,000. They still would have outdone about 18 or 19 other games like they've done in past years. So Celebration Bowl is a viable game, and I'm glad to see that not only did they come to a 6-year extension with both conferences and with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to continue to hold the game there. I'm just glad. I'm intrigued to see exactly what direction this game continues to go into and to see what these attendance numbers continue to do for the next 6 years.
You know what? Before, I'll just be transparent with you all. I was one of those Bama's, if you will, who's like, well, the Celebration Bowl takes away some HBCU's chance to go to the FCS playoffs, without realizing that historically the FCS playoffs do not favor schools from HBCU dominated conferences, right? So for whatever reason, they decided whether it's like not strong enough schedule, surface schedule, or whatever. I don't know the dynamics of them being able to schedule teams outside of the SWAC or the MEAC or whatever, as far as FCS level. Like the Jackson State's having the chance to schedule against not Norfolk State, but North Dakota State, South Dakota State, James Madison. James Madison's about to move to the FBS, by the way. But James Madison's,
Sam Houston
State,
McNeese State.
These powerhouses, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know the dynamics. Maybe they do. I don't know. I have to do some research on that. But I like the fact that ESPN has been willing to put these schools, these two conferences, give them a big spotlight in the midst of the FCS Plus, which is I find to be the coolest part about it, and the beginning of the FBS bowl season, and give this coverage on ABC, and just let it flow. And to see the attendance increase year after year after year, the popularity gets year after year after year, and inspires competition between those two major HBCU conferences in the SWAC and the MEAC is awesome. It's damn awesome. So now these schools from these two conferences are looking more forward to playing each other, get into the Celebration Bowl in the club, because I think both teams get a payout, right?
They do. Both teams and the conference. Well, both teams and the conferences get a payout, but of course, the participants get a bigger share of said payout. So to your point, now the SWAC actually gave up their eligibility to participate in the playoffs when they started realizing that, hey, we can go ahead and start making money by having a championship game and by having a true champion. So they gave up their eligibility to have an automatic bid for the playoffs that way. And then, of course, the MEAC did the same when they decided to participate in the Celebration Bowl. Because, I mean, yes, the champion was going, but there were several instances where the number 2 or the number 3 team, in my eyes, several years could have gone and didn't. So they decided that it will be a little bit more advantageous for us financially to go ahead and participate in the Celebration Bowl.
Right.
Yes.
Very much
so. Right. Now, there are those who like to have a conversation of, okay, what do these institutions actually get from participating in the Celebration Bowl, and how much of the money makes an impact on their institutions, blah, blah, blah. That's another conversation for another day. But I will say it does make, it at least does make an impact financially. And regardless of what your feelings are on whether or not these two conferences should be competing for a national title or whether they should continue to play in the Celebration Bowl, I will say, of course, the exposure and the benefits that are reaped because of it, and some of them are actually financial, are positives for these institutions. And then, of course, like I said before in the past, hey, you want these teams to compete for national titles? Then alumni, go ahead and get your dough up, get your money up, and give to your institutions so that they don't have to rely on playing for dough, and they can just go ahead and get their money and compete for national championships.
Yes.
Whereas right now they're looking at themselves more so as a business rather than those that are going out there to necessarily focus on competing for national championships. But again, another conversation for another day. But thankfully, Celebration Bowl does exist. Benefits are being reaped. And now they've done something this past year by getting up to 48,000. And they were legit 2,000 plus away from getting up to the not celebration, but the Citrus Bowl. With University of Florida and Central Florida, with them having over 50,000 attending that game.
Yeah.
So they were pretty close to getting that number 2. So, I mean, they're doing a wonderful job in terms of attendance, always have been, and hopefully always will be.
Yes.
And I just can't wait to see exactly what happens with the future of the game. But God knows, I have to admit that that 48,000, it doesn't happen without Deion Sanders being at that game. I'm not going to lie.
Very true too.
I'm not going to lie, because we've had some great teams participating in past years and some great talent participating in past years in the Celebration Bowl. But more eyes and more attention and more media attention too.
Yes, that part.
Which is a positive and a negative. I'm like, yo, pay attention to us all year long, dog.
Right.
Don't just go ahead and wait until now. But the attention, it's positive, man. But it has its downfalls. But I don't want to get into that conversation.
That's another podcast in episode, brother.
I'm congratulating the Celebration Bowl on their achievement.
Yes.
Of doing something that a lot of people didn't think that they would do, amidst the competition that they're dealing with, and they're doing wonderful even within a COVID pandemic year. So applaud to them. So Yeah, that one. Okay, real quick, because this just came in while we were doing the show that I just noticed. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick again. Looks like, realignment in conferences. There's another conference out there on the FCS level that's looking to make some additions. And that conference is the Ohio Valley Conference, the OVC.
Okay.
And there's news coming out that says industry sources tell me, I don't know who this me is, but I'll figure it out who it is a little bit later on. That Murray State is departing the OVC. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
That Murray's departure was expected by OVC officials, and the league will continue to seek to expand, with their search including both current D1 SCS football playing institutions, as well as prominent D2 institutions in the Midwest and Upper South. And those institutions that have been talked about on the D2 level are Southern Indiana, Hillside, Grand Valley State, that monster, and Lincoln Memorial. On the FCS football side, Western Illinois and Arkansas Pine Bluff.
What?
Yeah, so there's been conversations about conferences poaching out of the SWAC over the past year, especially with that Oklahoma, Texas move to the SEC has done nothing but create dominoes where other conferences are looking to bulk up and replace pieces and poach pieces from other conferences. And it was just a matter of time in which HBCU conferences would start to become the target. It's just all whether or not these institutions are going to decide to leave or not. So OVC would potentially be joining Tennessee State if that is a move that they desire to make.
That's crazy how that domino effect would stretch its tentacles, right? In other areas of
right?
Oklahoma, Texas, what they did.
Yes, exactly, right? So yeah, God, what would it say in The Wire? All the pieces come together.
Yeah.
All the pieces play a role or play a part. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on in collegiate athletics as well. So that's just another domino that's potentially falling in that realm too. So last but not least, I wanted to go ahead and acknowledge there were 2 deaths recently that have huge ramifications in the HBCU and sports realm, right?
Okay.
First and foremost, we're going to go in order of passing. The great Sam Jones, aka Mr. Clutch.
Yes.
Who played 12 seasons with the Boston Celtics, was is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Was a member of both the 50th and 75th NBA anniversary teams.
Yes.
Was a member of 5 All-Star teams, a 3-time All-NBA player, won 10 NBA championships, all with the Celtics, and is also an alum of North Carolina Central University.
Right.
Also, on January 1st, it was the passing of actor Max Julian.
Yes, the Mac.
Yes, you're wondering, for those out there who don't know, I'm about to get to it in just a moment. How does this tie into HBCUs and sports with Max Julian? Okay, so the actor most known for his roles on Mod Squad and, like you said, known as Goldie from the Mac, used to play high school basketball here in DC at Phelps High School. His one-time teammate before he went on to transfer to Spingarn High School, the alma mater of both my father and my uncle, that player was the great Elgin Baylor.
Whoa.
So yeah, he played with basketball at Phelps with Elgin Baylor before Baylor went ahead and transferred on over to Spingarn, and of course, eventually going on to be a great for the LA Lakers.
Correct, yeah.
Now, how does Max Julian tie into HBCUs, you might add? Well, once he graduated from high school, Max Julian, or Maxwell Banks as he was known at the time, is an alum of Howard University.
Oh, I didn't know that. The Mac went to Howard. Okay.
The Mac went to Howard. Now, what I'm trying to find out is whether or not Maxwell Banks, aka Max Julian, played basketball at Howard University. I can't seem to find any evidence as of right now, but I'm still doing research now to find out whether or not if that was the case. Right?
Right.
The irony that I'm making these announcements on today